Alright, let's see if we can keep this brief since I'm a bit under the weather. It is the 1st of April, which is the start of Egg Month. I've got two Mr. Mimes from different trainer OTs, and they both have an Egg Move Fake Out, and that'll be the parents that I'm going for. Maybe I'll get my last Nidoqueen female while I'm side hunting while I hatch eggs, but the Nidoqueens haven't been kind, so I'm not expecting that. But you'll hear from me again when I find a shine. Alright, it's voiceover time. A lot of strange things going on here, so right off the bat, I'm actually starting with the previous 100 egg batch because I accidentally gathered 5 too many eggs. That doesn't impact anything, but just one of the many weird things that happened on this batch of 100 that ended up giving me the shiny. So right here, I noticed I didn't have space for more eggs, so just stuck them in box 5. And so, this is me after hatching all those 100 eggs from the last batch, releasing the whole shebang. I'm not sure if it was obvious that that's what I was doing, but yep. Every 100 eggs, I release them into the wild, go back, collect more eggs, and rinse and repeat. So those 5 eggs ultimately had no impact on anything. But yeah, that's just something that happens very rarely, but yep, happened this time around. There's a few things on that list, and I'll point them out when we get to those pieces. In the meantime, I'll talk about the rates. So it takes around 2 hours to gather the 100 eggs because it is the different parent OT, but same species, which is nice. I'm not going to get that lucky going forward for the most part, but I got it this time around. And then to follow that up, the time to hatch, pretty rough. It takes around 5 hours because this is a higher egg cycle than the previous egg hunts I've done. So it's an increase of about 1.5 times the amount that time it took to hatch the egg compared to previously. And as it was whizzing by, another quirk that this batch of 100 had that most don't is I actually only gathered around 2 boxes of eggs and then had to go to sleep for the night. And so I ended up picking up the next batch of 50 the day after. The egg that ended up being shiny actually is one that I had gathered a full batch of eggs. I went to receive the egg, but my party was full, so I had to deposit the eggs, come back out, and receive it. Now, I still don't know for certain whether or not an egg shininess is determined when you pick it up or when the egg is generated. I'm pretty sure in Emerald it is when it is picked up, but I'm not sure if that is true for Firered, Leaf Green, Ruby, or Sapphire. If you know for 100% sure, I would love to know, so give me a comment if you got it. Again, real world time takes around 2 hours. I don't know why. It should be closer to 1 hour and 40, because it should take 1 minute per egg, because I can pick up, I check for an egg around every 30 seconds, and it should have at least a 70% chance of giving me an egg every time I do that. So maybe the maths, but just feels like it should be a bit quicker. So yeah, pretty rough, and it's only going to get more rough from here for the most part. I've got one theory on what I could do to help myself out for the worst, which is going to be Chansey. Kind of its own method on shiny hunting eggs in Firered Leaf Green. But that'll be a video for a future date. If you have any questions about how I'm doing my egg hunts or want to get into it yourself, I know a decent amount for Firered Leaf Green and some that are applicable to Ruby Sapphire, and then obviously Emerald is the same, just with Flame Body. So, nothing too crazy there. As I stated in the start of this video, I started this on April 1st for Egg Month, and it's June 3rd when I finally hatched the shiny egg. So moving right along, we're going on to the hatching part of the process. And for these egg hunts, after taking so long on the Farfetch'd, I decided I need to be doing a random encounter hunt on the side when I'm not needing to pay attention for egg hunts. It's a very, like I said, it takes around 5 hours to hatch 100 eggs. So that's plenty of time to be doing something more focused, which is in this case going to be hunting on Route 3, all the way up to 34 phases in the middle of this hunt. I'm just trying to get one more Nidoran, and then I'll be all done with Route 3, free from Route 3. That is the dream. Been doing this for, well, no spoilers. We'll get to there when we get to there. That'll be the next video, hopefully. Not saying I have the shiny yet, though. I will say it does take a decent amount of energy and focus to be able to do an egg hunt and a secondary hunt, one hand each. But something interesting that may just happen, and in this case it did happen, which is the third quirk of this, was I ended up somehow getting a shiny Spearow in the middle of this hunt. That ended up having the shiny Mr. Mime. Eventually take him out level 1. Fairly sacrificial outfits. Ding. But that's not what we're here for, and this is not that video, and that's not even a phase for this video. So away it goes, and we'll see it when we see it. So actually, I'm on 35 phases in the middle of this hunt. Quite the interesting batch of 100 eggs this go around, in my very bored opinion. But when you're hatching this many eggs for this many hours, you just gotta find interesting things that differentiate as you make progress through the different milestones. As a low estimate, I'm probably around 300 hours into this egg hunt for the last 2 months, which when you're doing one console for an egg hunt without flame body, it's not all that surprising for it to go that long. That's decently quick, all things considered. I mean, honestly, 300 is a pretty low estimate. It's probably more like 8 hours for every 100 eggs. I'm not hyper focused to hit that 7-hour mark. So there's a handful of downtime where I'm not paying a whole lot of attention, and there might be times where I'm just idling, hitting a wall, battery dies, or I'm just completely out of eggs and I haven't noticed. The auto counter in red there is actually very helpful for me to notice if I'm out of eggs. If it's a 0 or a 5, I know that I'm at a batch done or at a batch starting. And quirk number 4 is I actually started doing this hunt the next day. So we're 3 days in here. We've got the previous batch of 100 and releasing them and gathering another 50. And then the next day, I'm gathering the remaining 50 and hatching 50. And then today, hatching another 50. But I didn't have to hatch all 50 of those before it finally shined for me. I've actually switched over to using rechargeable batteries because my wireless controller for this GameCube actually burns through batteries like you wouldn't believe. I was taking out a multimeter to find out which batteries are good and which ones are bad, because it seems like the rechargeable batteries are running out pretty quick, and I've been having a hard time figuring out which battery is the one that's burning out, and is it just a matter of not having any charge left or the battery's dead. So I was actively testing batteries when I was hatching this last portion of eggs, and when I ultimately find the shiny, I was repacking the toolbox it took to take the multimeter's battery out and put in one, and re-putting it back in its container so that I could put everything away. And ultimately, I just kind of stood there putting things away for a good few minutes, so you're gonna see me just not have anything going on up there for a good few minutes, starting with the actual hatch itself. Oh my god, what? I've just been sitting here putting away some tools from my toolbox. And it's just sitting there. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, there it is. What? Under odds again? Half odds feels so much better than triple odds. You never would guess. Oh. 2 months, it's all it took. Wow. So fast. I love these. Well, this is a slower hunt compared to Kangaskhan, but I love that it only took 2 months. And you might think I'm crazy for saying that, but man, after you do a year-long egg hunt, this is so much nicer. I did want to get this more than I wanted the Nidoran, because it goes so much faster doing the Nidoran if I'm not doing a secondary hunt. Also, my hands get so tired doing dual hunts. I don't know how anybody does multi-hunts. Alright, so it is the one in from the diagonal in the bottom right. Well, since I've been hatching eggs between 2 different days, I know I saved. So, yeet! Luckily, I was only able to do around 45 of the 100 from yesterday. So that means I only have to hatch 15 to get back to where I was. You never spend time over here. How many of you actually know specifically where you get Mr. Mime in game trade if you wanted it? You guessed south of Pewter in Route 2. With the diagonal method that I use to hatch my eggs, you know, the thing all the cool kids are using, you can save a decent amount of time per batch of 25. I totally missed this the first time, so actually seeing it is crazy. Wow. Love it. Here before I trade it over to the hub game. Hatched in Route 2. Oh yeah, what's the egg move? Fake out. Yeah, alright. Makes sense for a Mime, I suppose. Spare egg, goodbye to you. Aerial shot of the trade setup before I switch over to single view. Apparently, meant in Route 2. Yep, I just found him in the wild. He'd just be like that, you know? Oh, shoot. He's 122. Right there. 122 complete. Nope, that's not true. 67 done. Alright. I think that's about it. I'm not coming back until I come back with a Nidoqueen. Good luck with all your hunts.